In 2001, Rhode Island became the second state to include transgender people in a non-discrimination law. In June of 2004, the first transgender march took place. In October of 2010, Phyllis R. Fry became the first openly transgender judge in America. In August 2015, the White House hired an openly transgender staff member. Transgender is defined as a person whose sense of personal identity and gender does not correspond with their birth sex. A little less than a year ago, Beckett Landry came out as transgender. Although these last few months were filled with ups and downs, he is finally who he was meant to be. He is finally happy, and he is finally comfortable in his own skin.
Hi, I'm Beck, and this is One Day on Testosterone. Hey, this is Beck, and this is 1 week on testosterone. Hi, I'm Beck, and this is 2 months on testosterone. Hi, I'm Beck, and this is 3 months on testosterone.
What's your name?
Beckett Emerson Landry. I am male. I have not always been male. Being trans is a little awkward sometimes. No, so I've been acting like a boy for my entire life. As soon as I could dress myself, I was dressing myself in boys' clothes. I always had male friends as a child. I've asked other my guy friends when I was younger, how do you be more like a boy, and how do you do this and how do you do that more like a boy? I came to the realization that I was trans in about May of this year. I took a lot of online quizzes. Which is a really awkward thing to do, but I took online quizzes and I went on a lot of forums. I talked to friends. I was like, I don't know, could be, could not be. And it took a lot of debating to know if I was or wasn't trans. But once I figured it out, I actually just started to transition really quickly. I had to go through a lot of doctor's appointments. So my first doctor's appointment to try and get a referral to a doctor that does hormone therapy. Hormone replacement therapy is a really complicated process because you have to go in and talk about your entire life. But even to go into hormone replacement therapy in the first place, you have to get a physical to say you are clear, you are of sound mind and body, and this is what you're going to do. My hormone replacement therapy started in August. So my first hormone replacement therapy appointment, I had to get a blood test and I had to get a psych evaluation. I had to discuss my entire history, even if it was a short and brief history of my own knowledge, and then I had to discuss my mental health history and how often do I get angry? Am I a person that has problems with anger? Answers to those are yes, but that didn't stop them from putting me on testosterone. The process itself, I had to, learn how to give myself injections. I learned how to draw a needle, help myself be the kind of person I need to be, and make that commitment every week of my life. So going through second puberty is a really insane process of I am an adult of sound body and mind, and then all of the sudden you are crazy for no reason. And you know that what you think and feel is irrational and you're feeling things too strongly, or you're not supposed to feel the things you're feeling, but then you get really upset at yourself because it's I'm an adult and I know how to deal with this, but right now I'm so upset and feel so strongly about it. How could I possibly even deal with this in this moment? You just feel entirely irrational all the time, even though you know how to be rational. So it's a real big constant struggle to go through puberty twice. When I forget about what it's like to be a female, or when I stop being referred to as a female and there's just a few days where people are yeah, this is Beck, he's a great guy, and he's got a really nice low voice, and look at him, he's got when people really genuinely view me as a man, and it goes for a few days before somebody makes a blip, and that's not their fault, I don't blame anyone for that, but when it gets through those few days, I'm yeah, I feel whole. But then, obviously every day I have to deal with my name, and I have to deal with, like, what am I going to have to, is somebody going to mess up today? And that's a really difficult process, and I think that that's going to be a little longer before people are more like, no, like, I don't, it's still fairly early in my process. I'm only 3 months on testosterone today, and as much as I've gone through significantly with my voice change and, like, my growth of facial hair and my body already redistributing fat in a more male pattern, there is still things that people find very feminine about me, and I understand. And though it's difficult, I think that it's a learning process for everyone involved. I think that sometimes it can be really hard to have to explain yourself all the time. My full transition to me will be, I have gone through 2 years of hormone therapy, because then that is when you are essentially full grown as a man. I will have had top surgery, and I will have changed my name. And those are all very simple things that can happen in the next 2 years. But for now, only 3 months in, it's still a process for everyone involved.
Used to